What's up, YouTube? I hope you guys are doing well. It is ASCAP International Royalty Month right now, August 2025. I'm going to be breaking down my statement here, which is my best statement I've ever gotten in my licensing career. So it's a nice, juicy one. Let's check it out. And before we do so, I am officially with BMI, but I guess stuff was still lingering with ASCAP, so this is a big ASCAP statement. I'm not expecting to get much from my BMI thing, which is actually tomorrow. August is always best for me for the ASCAP stuff. So it beat last year's by $1,300, I think. So that's quite a jump. And the international is always increasing for me. The domestic is random, up and down, and it's low paying. These are like 10 times the amount, maybe more. Okay, so looking at the categories here, television was by far the biggest category, which is no surprise. Other royalties was one of them. Audio-visual streaming on demand, that's like your Netflix and your Hulu and stuff like that. Here's the top countries. Number one by a landslide was Germany. In fact, it was almost 3/4 of the whole payment. Czech Republic's number 2. Denmark looks like number 3. Hong Kong. And number 5 is Japan. But there's a lot of countries. Some other ones were still decent. 4 pages worth of countries. Okay, so let's jump in. I'm going to skim through. I'm not going to try to make this too long. Australia, only like $1. Not even $1. Belgium, not even $1. Brazil, all right, here's more stuff in this one. Some American re-airings, some BMG, some independent placements from the US. So it's re-airings. Yeah, a little bit of Warner. Got to be re-airings. Yeah, it's not much. This is just a decent amount of the stuff. Mostly re-airings of US stuff. But overall, not a great country for my royalties this time around. And it's not usually a top one anyway. Canada, a lot of US re-airings and some just Canadian shows. French-Canadian show. I don't know what that is. A couple episodes there. So there's some APM stuff in here. Independent US. Universal as well. Other royalties. Yeah, Canada's decent. Let's look at some of the good stuff. Television, we got some French show for $11.86. There's another placement here for $22, which is another French-Canadian show. Colombia, $0. Costa Rica, 8 cents. Croatia, 43 cents. Cyprus, 9 cents. Czech Republic was I think the number 2. Music by electronic or mechanical means. There's one for $16.84 on there. Pretty low otherwise. Other royalties, all less than $1. All right, television, some good ones on here. There's one for $88 and there's one for about $98. And most of this was from a library in the Czech Republic, so you figure they got connections there. I have some happy ukulele music with them. It's also kind of Hawaiian themed. Other than that, there's a little bit of Universal there. The track A Day in Paradise gets a lot of usage on these shows. Denmark was another pretty good one. A lot of stuff here. Audio-visual streaming on demand. Doesn't tell you the programs, but there's a $21 one. There's a lot of stuff also on here. Some of it Universal, BMG, etc. Independent, but it's all pretty low there. Another page here. Audio-visual streaming on demand. All pretty low. $6, $3, $4. The tracks will show up a good amount of times. Nothing crazy, but a lot of stuff until we get to the television. We have an $18 placement. That's a show called Beliggenhead, or Location. I'm probably not saying it right, but that is I believe a German show, but it also is airing here in Denmark. Pays pretty well. I think it shows up a few more times in the statement as well. Another one from the same show for $8.56. One independent American library, which they have kind of random sub-publishers, so it's not like a major Universal or anything. So this is just a case of like, it's a lot of stuff that adds up, but it wasn't anything like $100 placement in there or whatever, or $1,000 or something. Estonia is low, but I am seeing some, there's a French library that I've had music with for 2 years about. Stuff's finally showing up now more than it was, and that's an independent library. So electronic music with co-writers. So good to see that. It's always good to see new stuff popping up. Finland. Well, a decent amount of stuff. There's an $11 surf rock thing. Yeah, some decent ones in there. $5. These might be worth going on IMDb, throwing them in there. As long as it's written in English, I usually try to put it on IMDb. France, nothing too crazy. But I have had some decent French before. All right, here's the big Germany stuff. Other royalties, whatever. Radio, there's one for $19. Sunshine in the Kitchen. That's a universal ukulele track. A little bit of everything, actually, in there. Different libraries, BMG, independent. All right, television. My biggest ever line on one statement is here. $1,731.72. So that is a happy ukulele track from an independent library in Denmark. Go figure that. Denmark library getting a huge payment in Germany. The way that they do it for the German statements with ASCAP is they put one line for each track. So I'm seeing a bunch of different tracks, but there's no repeat tracks. So I know that this particular track that I'm seeing here is used a lot on a show that translates to breakfast television in Germany. I'll get like TuneSat hits all the time. A lot of times it's Sundays. It might go for 4 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever, even though it's like a minute and a half track. So they use it a lot. I'm guessing it's mostly that. Frühstück Fernsehen. So there's that big payment. There's a $31. There's a $57. $46. $125. That one is with a co-writer, my buddy Emil. Shout out if he's watching. Track Digital Cities. It's a library that's somewhere in Europe. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of good ones on this page. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, more. You got a $43, $52. There's a $69 one. That's from Sonaton, the sub-publisher in Germany and Austria. So that's pretty good. A lot of good stuff there. If every country was like this, then I would definitely not need to do anything other than licensing for work. And a lot of tracks, man. Here's another page of just gold. $14, $13, $19, $11, $10, $29, a $31, a $20. And there's other categories, but nothing's going to beat that. All right, we're in Hong Kong. This was another good one. There's a placement for $80. Bright Horizon. That could be any number of things. Some other stuff. Bright Horizon on radio also got $34. Yeah, overall decent for that country. Hungary here, $15. Hungary. Iceland, not good. India, $7. Indonesia is not good. Ireland, $3. Something from that electronic album I was mentioning that I didn't know about, so at least it's good to see something there. For Ireland, sometimes I have non-exclusive placements, but that wasn't the case this time because I only got a songwriter payment. I didn't get a publisher payment. So there was nothing non-exclusive on this statement. Israel is low. Looks like just U.S. re-airings. Italy. Oh, there was one placement for $23 in Italy. That's pretty good. Streaming on demand, no less. A track which was with a BMG library. Yeah, it was $39 for Italy. It's okay, I guess. Japan was pretty good. Some other royalties. There's a BMG placement I didn't know about. Cool. Good variety of libraries and styles. One for $23. That was the BMG. That's a Guitar Soundscape track. This is like the early days of that being live. So actually, I'm surprised it's showing up already. Probably went live 9 months ago. So that's good. Good sign. A couple of U.S. re-airings, but the rest of it, I believe, is not that. Latvia is low. Lithuania is low. Luxembourg is $0. Malaysia is low. Mexico is low. Moldova is 2 cents. That same electronic track. Netherlands, $21 overall for the country. New Zealand is 45 cents. Nigeria is low. Norway, a decent amount of stuff. Here's a streaming on demand. Has some stuff. Television, some okay ones there. $6, $5, $2, a $10. $74 for that country. Peru is low. Philippines, low. Poland's $14. Portugal, some stuff I didn't know about. 7 placements, and I don't think I knew about any of these. All the same show, Wrestler or something. Hey, Romania, this is a $10. Otherwise, it's not too good. Singapore is low. Slovakia is low. South Africa right now is low. Although I do expect that to increase because I do work with some libraries that go through Red Igloo Music, which is like the big library down in South Africa. South Korea, about $10. Spain's not bad, 28. Nice lunch you can buy. Sweden. I've had good ones in Sweden before. Wow, it's a lot of pages. Yeah, it's okay. There's a $40 placement from the Beliggenhead again. It adds up kind of to a decent amount. I'll take it. I've gotten some good Sweden placements before. Switzerland, $2. It looks like there's some stuff I didn't know about on there. Thailand, 2 cents. Turkey, 2 cents. United Arab Emirates, 1 cent from that same electronic track. It was used on something that was broadcast quite a bit, just not earning too much yet. The UK, a $5 golf placements. PGA Tour, The Cut. So that's a US re-airing. A lot of stuff. Other royalties. Other royalties added up to about $17.57. Some stuff in there. $10 thing. A lot of pages and lines. UK is pretty good overall. Uruguay is low. Vietnam is low. And that's the last page. So yeah, guys, it was good. And I'm happy to see that the international royalties keep climbing. A lot of people say that BMI is even better for it, though it might take a little longer to get your BMI royalties. We shall see. But I'm very glad that I got this last big ASCAP one, because I was thinking that maybe I wouldn't see some international royalties for like a year or something as they transition from one PRO to the other. But I'm with BMI for 2 months, and I still got my entire international ASCAP statement that I would have gotten, at least to my knowledge. Let me know how you guys did on your statement, or this. Your BMI is coming out tomorrow, but it depends when I publish this video. Hopefully today, which is Thursday, August 21st. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.